Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 21 of my modded Factorio playthrough. The loading of old save files will continue while I recover from the hard drive failure. Enjoy. I'm thinking since we're taking a while handcrafting things, we can research the crafting speed upgrade. And crafting speed upgrade is just from crafting speed upgrade mod? Sounds right. It just allows you to research and allow your character to build things faster. And it gets really expensive at the bottom. And this is in part because of Science Cost Tweaker mod, which makes research more expensive. But these early levels are pretty cheap, and even 20% increase for 50 science packs is a pretty good deal. So we might as well research that, because we are going to be doing a lot of building of things, handcrafting, before the factory starts automatically producing this stuff for us. But let's move this power line out of the way, because there's not going to be any room for a power line when we're mining. Alright, let's replace these lights so we can kind of see. And it looks like we're going to need a bunch of miners. Okay, I think we mined those already, so that's good. And we're going to need some belts. And some inserters. Let's make some inserters. Put the inserters in here. Right, and the last belts can go in there. Just barely had enough. But we're going to need more belts than that, so we might as well pick up some more. Pick up some motors, too. Looks like Rubyte mining is still happening, but it's almost filled up, it looks like. So if you look at this, we're filled up on tin ore, and we have some byproducts, but we're not filled up on them, but that's okay. What we want to be filled up on is the tin. So that's filled up properly. And it looks like this is filling up properly, so we are soon going to be able to hook up the Rubyte mining without having to worry about making an excessive amount of pollution. We're making a decent amount, but it still isn't quite hitting them, so I don't think we're going to get attacked right now. So that's good. See, we need to hook up the output of these things. And the belts have to be positioned the same way from left to right, because if we had them right to left, it would be picking up the other side of the belt, which would be coal in this case. So, oh, it looks like I did the belts in the wrong direction. They need to be away from the miners, not towards them. Oops. That's an easy fix. So, let's place this here and this here. This one might not be allowed to be there because there's not going to be enough room in here to handle this. Maybe the same with this one, I think. Something like that. And I think also these junk boxes are going to be in the way. So I think we're going to have to move them somewhere. Right there, I guess. Put the extra Rubyte in there. And those geodes. And the junk that we don't need anymore because they've been outdated. Like, we don't need iron chest because we have steel. And we don't need the turbine generator anymore. And we don't need the pistol. Alright. Let's make some splitters. Oh, cool. The crafting speed upgrade is done. There we go. Get rid of the blinking. Oops. Those are the wrong direction. And now let's do the coal input. Actually, we can just make this look symmetrical and have all these the same length. Make some splitters. There we go. That's a little awkward because it's kind of in the way, but I don't mind just kind of messing with this a little bit and having a little squiggly. Let's stop that right real quick here. So that's ready to go, I think. Are we good on the bobmodium? Yes. Mining has ceased, and you see pollution is a lot lower. Previously, when this machine was running, this is about 4,500. Now it's 2,400, so... and decreasing, and the pollution cloud is getting smaller. Good. So, it shouldn't anger the biters too much by starting up the Rubyte mining and seeing how this works. So let's see if it runs properly. Man, it takes a lot of coal to get this thing started. It's a full belt of coal for quite some time to finally fill up all those machines. Well, it looks good. There's no resources where they're not supposed to be. We are just getting one solid belt of Rubyte. And lots of green lights, which looks good to me. I believe that catches up this save file, so let's load up the original save file and see how we did. Alright, here's the original save file, and you know, the belts, they look a little different, but it's more or less the same. That's kind of what counts, it's more or less the same. Bobmodium looks good, the sorting looks good. It looks like this is fairly similar. I mean, I did the same, the boxes. The way I did the boxes looks like I have the resources in slightly different positions, but the boxes are similar. It looks like this is placed a little further away, but functionally speaking, there's not a whole lot of difference. That's pretty similar. So it looks like that was a successful reenactment for that save file. So it's time to get on to the next one. Alright, the next step here is to process this Rubyte into lead. But before we get to that, I'm worried about this pollution cloud that is now expanded outwards towards the biters again. And I'm worried they're going to get mad. So before we hook this up to more machines, which are going to cause it to run longer and produce more pollution, I kind of want to make some biter defenses. And we can do that in the form of turrets and walls. I don't believe we have those researched yet. We do not. Turrets are pretty straightforward. They just require the basic circuit boards, which we can currently make, and they're very quick, only 10 packs, and stone walls just require bricks, so both of those are going to be some quick researches. What we are going to require, though, is a ton of ammunition to stock them. So I'm going to make a ton of ammo, probably 200. I'm just going to make them by hand for now. I don't think we need to set up a manufacturing machine just for some ammo. Alright, turrets are done. Let's get some walls. Kind of want to just build these things now rather than run out and find out we don't have enough resources to make them. Most likely place of them attacking is going to be the radar. For some reason, I guess when they get hit by a radar ping, it makes them extra mad and they go running for it. So I want to protect these two radars here. The one down here and the one up there. We don't see any biters up there, but it seems like those are the two most likely places to get hit by biters. So I would like to protect them with some turrets. I'm not sure how many walls we're going to need. Actually, we're not going to need that many. This is probably going to be fine. Let's make 8 turrets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. And let's go for a walk. And actually, though, before we go for a walk, we should start the research for tin processing. Or lead processing. Let's see, let's make sure we have the resources. Yep. Let's do more research. Because you see right now, lead is not available. lead smelting because it requires basic chemistry. Because if we look at the recipe, to make lead ingots is a little more complicated than making tin. It's going to require oxygen gas as an input, and we're going to get sulfur dioxide gas as an output. So in order to do that, we need to be able to make oxygen. And that's what basic chemistry is for. It allows us to have access to an electrolyzer. And as a note, this is an element of the game, the mod that I changed. Originally, the electrolyzer required the basic electronic boards, the tier 2 boards, and those can't be made until you have access to lead. But to make lead, the efficient way anyway, you need the electrolyzer. So it seems weird that such a low-level machine, that only requires 50 packs, requires that when the liquefier right next to it only requires basic circuits. So I modified that to make it require the basic circuit boards instead of the electronics circuit boards. So otherwise you'd have to make lead specifically the inefficient way until you could get access to those boards. And that just seemed kind of not very a smooth way of playing the game. But another thing we have access to is a liquefier, which is just a machine that's used for all sorts of recipes. Metal catalysts, which are kind of the alchemy of the game, that you can turn one resource into another. Not necessarily magic, but kind of. But that's for future recipes. And also we can make carbon dioxide from coal, which will come in handy later. But specifically what we're looking for is the dirt water electrolysis. So we just take water from any source, and we will get a tiny bit of slag, and 30 oxygen and 40 hydrogen as another byproduct. And that sounds good, so let's get that going while we can. And let's go for a walk. Let's put some turrets down. Later on in the playthrough, we're going to build a giant wall to protect the entire factory from biters. But right now, we don't have access to that level of resources. So for now, we're just going to have to settle with a couple of turrets. It looks like they're not quite ready yet. Just have to wait it out, I guess. Placement isn't that important. Just relatively close. Okay, looks like that power pole is going to be in the way. Okay, that should be okay. Okay, we can fill these up with some ammo. 25 should be okay for now. I don't want to completely fill them up because we don't even know if these are going to be attacked or not. Later, if they are attacked, we could come through and stock them up with much higher amounts. There we go, we got a little defensive turret cube. So let's do the other radar. Basic chemistry is done, which unlocks the lead smelting. So we might as well get to that because we're going to need that shortly. Okay, here we are. Let's put the turrets down. About like right here. Seems good. And put 25 ammo in each one. And wall them off. Looks good. Pick up some more iron while we're here. From those boxes I already deleted, but they're magically back. That's all the time we have for today, so I will see you at the next episode.